Welcome back to Module 7, and this will be our second lecture. We're going to take a look for just a few moments at identifying unusual cases. Now, I will warn you ahead of time that what we look at here is a little bit wonky, and I'm not sure how to explain all of it. I'll do the best that I can, and I've never actually used this in practice, so I've never had a reason to do this, in any of my studies. But we'll take a look at it, and just to kind of get an idea of what comes up and what you can expect maybe from your own data. So let's take a look at, again, we're in the data menu, and we want to identify unusual cases, right? So these are cases over here, right? So individual participants, unusual cases in their data. So here, unusual cases, analysis variables. Let's just pick, let's say we want to find somebody that's odd, right? Because we're looking at cases, we're looking at individuals. And we want to look at total child, right? So this is how many children do you have? That's the question that was asked of participants. Let's say we just want to look at that one, and we want to see if anything comes up unusual as far as these people here. I'm going to just simply click OK. And again, it's going to tell us what we're doing. It's looking for, it's detecting anomalies. And again, if you remember from our previous lecture, we can actually go in here and type notes, double click here inside the box, and we can type stuff as far as like maybe why we did that. Anyway, what we're looking for here is we find that it looks as if there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases that were placed on this list of anomalies. And it gives us the case numbers, right? So these would be the participant numbers. And this is what I'm not quite sure about. Again, I've never used this in practice. So if this is something that you think you would be interested or that you need to use, it may warrant a little bit more investigation on your part. Again, I don't want to bore the rest of the class if this is helpful only for a couple of people. But what it's doing is it's categorizing these people into some type of peer group, right? So peer size of 45. So there's something in common, or something that these 3, 4, 5 participants have in common with other people that they designate as a peer size. And it says, okay, well, the responses that these 5 gave are different than we would expect based on a peer size or people that are similar to them, this group of other 45. And so the value norm, it looks like these participants, my guess is what's going on is that these participants have reported that they have an exceptionally high number of biological children. That was the question that we asked. Remember, how many biological children do we have? So let's take an example. Let's take a look at a couple of these. Let's look at case number 22 and see what might be odd with that person as far as the number of biological children. So case number 22, let's look. And if we look at total child, yep, that's exactly what we find right here. Case number 25 said that he has 8 biological children. Right. Yeah. So that is an anomaly. That is unusual. And it's pretty cool that SPSS picked up on this. Let's take a look let's look at case number 140. So we scroll down and case 140 and look at number of children. And yep, we're finding that same thing right here. So my guess is that the other ones are the same. I'm not going to go, you can, kind of practice, go through and see if all of the rest of those came up the same. All 5 of these cases with 8 children. Again, I don't know the algorithm. I don't know how SPSS groups these into a peer size based on what, I'm not sure. But what it did was it says, okay, well, based on other characteristics of participants, the number that you've given here seems like it's out of place. And so it identified those. Basically, outliers is what it's looking for. And we'll work with recoding and missing values and kind of working through some of these issues as we go through the course. But just know that that's what it's looking for. Again, if it's important to you to know how and why these 5 were placed into a peer size, or who they're compared to, that might be something for you to look at, because I'm not quite sure. So that was identifying unusual cases. Let's take a look at one other one just to kind of see what happens. Let's take a look at data. Let's again do more identify unusual cases. I'm going to move that one over and get it out. And let's see if there's anything as far as, let's say, income. So our income, I think, had maybe 7 levels. of income. Let's put that over and see, click OK, what comes up. So now again, it's just going to put this up here, detect anomalies for income, right? And it's telling us that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And for some reason, these are coming out as anomalies, as unusual. Let's take a look at those. And for example, let's look at case number 99 and see what we might find out about that. Again, my guess is that these are going to be at the higher end of the income level because there are so few that reported that they had, extreme levels of income, right? So they may be outliers compared to the rest of everyone else. So I believe that was case 99. Let's take a look and see what comes up for income. Okay, that was a 6. And when we look here, participant number 99, gave a variable value of 6. So it's a little bit higher on that end. And again, I don't know what SPSS did to put this person into a peer size or compare it to other people, but it's looking at apparently other things and saying, okay, well, based on what we know of a group similar to you, it's unusual that you would have a response of 6. And it's doing these others with the same thing with these other participants' case numbers and the response that they had given. So that might be something that you want to look at. Again, we're not going to get into what to do with those cases, but you may want to explore other things about these participants, is to maybe try to explain some of your results or some of your outliers. And that, again, or you may, want to get together with a colleague of your own, a supervisor, and determine, well, is this something that we need to worry about at all? Again, what I'm seeing here, I wouldn't be concerned about it. You may want to just, if you're, for example, writing your descriptives, your frequency counts, and you say, listen, we ran an anomaly check and SPSS, brought up these 5, and what we noticed was that these were the only 5 participants who reported that they had 8 children, but we decided to retain them in our data file. Something along that lines. So yeah, so that is identifying unusual cases. Hopefully that was helpful. Again, I don't know that it's something that we'll need to worry about tremendously. We may not even need to worry about it at all, depending on the project that we're working with. So let's wrap that one up. We will be back in just a little bit with our next class course, and I think that our next few are going to be pretty short as we look at sorting cases and sorting variables. So I'll see you soon, class. You keep plowing through. You're doing a great job.